Hi art friends! In this video I'm going to show you and talk about how to make an Amate bark painting inspired by Mexican folk art. Amate paper dates all the way back to early Mesoamerican cultures like the Aztecs and is rich in history. Amate paper is made from the bark of the wild fig and mulberry trees that grow in Mexico. Each tree has a different color bark and adds to the color of the final paper. Originally, paint was made with natural dyes, but now acrylic paints are commonly used. Right here, I have 3 different ways to make an Amate paper picture. This first one is made with using tempera paints. The middle one is used oil pastels. And the last one, I used crayon. So whatever material you have, you can use to make your Amate picture. Before we get started on our project, I did want to show you these 2 pieces here. This is traditional Amate bark painting, and I got these when I was in Mexico a few years ago. They use a lot of bright colors and a lot of black outlines. Sometimes you even see white outlines as well. But this is a folk art style, so the artists who are making these paintings are not traditionally trained. They are just people who want to make art, just like you and me. So let's get started with our project. To start off, we're going to need to make our Amate paper. Using a brown paper bag and a pair of scissors, we are going to cut out the shapes that we want for our paper. Now, if your paper bag has any writing on it, don't worry, that's okay, because you can actually use the inside of the bag to make your picture. And even a lunch bag would work as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out the shape you would like. I suggest you cut out on the lines first and cut out the large square and then cut them smaller. Or you can make one big picture. Now that I have a smaller piece, I'm actually going to cut this in half again because I want my picture to be a little bit smaller. And actually, I would like to make 2. Now, with your paper, you need to decide what media you're going to use. I suggest you start with pencil first, and then if you'd like to go over your lines with Sharpie or with a black crayon, colored pencil might even work as well. You just have to make sure you're pressing really hard so those colors show up on the brown paper. Before we draw, you're actually going to prep your paper because you do want it to have that feel that it is actually made out of bark. So what you're going to do is you're going to crinkle up your paper. And then you're going to unfold it. And you're going to do that 3 times. And on the 3rd time, you want to lay your paper out and smooth it flat, or as flat as you can get it. That way your paper has a lot of awesome textures to it, much like the real Amate bark pictures. Then, with a pencil, you're going to draw your design. Traditionally, Amate pictures use a lot of floral designs, and birds are a very common theme. However, if you'd like to do some everyday scenes, right, of people or of houses, whatever you would like to include on your picture. I'm going to draw a bird. Now, if it helps you, you can draw a border around your picture, and I'm going to do that with marker just so you can see that. And don't worry if your picture is not perfectly straight. It kind of adds to the character. And then inside that, I'm going to draw my bird. And I know you can't see it super well on the video, but I will go over it with marker for you to see. So there I have my bird, and now I'm going to add some extra elements. Now remember, once again, this is your picture. You can make it look however you'd like. If you want your bird to have a really long tail, if you want it to come off the edge, go for it. Anything you want. I like to add flowers to my picture. And if you notice, my shapes aren't very small. I'm leaving a lot of open space, so when I go to color, I have that area to color. I don't want tiny, tiny little lines. because it makes it really hard to get in there, especially if you have like oil pastels or even if you're painting. Sometimes it can be really tricky. I'm going to do one more little picture up there. If you want to add something to your border, go for it. And now you're ready to color, to paint, or whatever you have for your media. So I went ahead and I colored on my Amate painting with 3 different things. Now the first one I used was paint, which is the flower down here, and that gives an effect that kind of looks like this. The next one I used was oil pastel to create that illusion that it's a painting, and that looks like that. And with oil pastels, you just have to be careful and press kind of hard with them because you really want to get in all those cracks and crevices that you made when you crinkled up your paper. I suggest you crinkle your paper first if you're going to do oil pastel and then color, because if you crinkle it after, your oil pastel can get all over the place. If you choose to paint, you can crinkle it after. If you have crayon, same thing along the lines of the oil pastel, which is where I colored down here. You just have to be careful because the colors are a little bit duller, so you do have to press hard. If you have things like construction paper crayons or fluorescent crayons, those might work a little bit better. I hope you have fun with this project. I can't wait to see what you guys create. Have fun!